My name is Dr. Gorden Refshauge. I'm a Senior Research Scientist with the Department of Primary Industries and Regional Development. We're here at the Condobolin Agricultural Research and Advisory Station, here today looking at condition scoring of does at the time of marking. The fundamental reason why condition scoring is important is because there's a sweet spot in condition score and it's a prediction of a future outcome. So an animal that's too lean is less likely to rear as many kids as an animal that's in ideal condition, and those females that are too fat are more likely to rear fewer kids as well. So management of animals on condition score helps you make decisions about the allocation of pasture base. When it's limiting, that's really helpful. When it's abundant, you make different decisions again as well. So it's a guide to help you make simple decisions. It's done once or twice a year. It's not hard to do, and it will just improve the overall efficiency of the farm, so you just have less wastage. Condition scoring is the assessment of fat and muscle tissue that occupies the space around the short loin of the animal. The short loin is the space between the long ribs of the chest and the hips. The structure of the bones are a bit like this, so with the dorsal and lateral bones, and the space in between these bones is the muscle and some fat tissue. We're assessing for how sharp those bones feel, but also for how much muscle and fat tissue occupies that space. It's relative on a 1 to 5 scale, where 1 is lean and emaciated and 5 is an obese animal. We palpate this site with our hands and make an assessment for where the animal sits. It is a forward forecaster for expected outcomes. An animal in particular that is lean is less likely to be pregnant and more likely to have a single if it is pregnant. And when the number of kids is a driver of profit, an animal that is 1 score, if it has the opportunity to be placed on a higher plane of nutrition before joining, is more likely to have a higher pregnancy rate and twinning rate. And if that animal at pregnancy scanning is placed on a higher plane of nutrition, she's more likely to have a heavier kid, rear more of those kids, and have a heavier weight kid at weaning. And those are key profit drivers. The best time to assess condition score is at weaning, because that gives you the time before joining to place these females onto a higher plane of nutrition. If those animals are weaned from their kids, they can be placed into different paddocks that will then reflect their nutritional requirements. The next best time to assess condition score is at pregnancy scanning, where you can assess the nutritional requirements of these animals and make an adjustment for their litter size, where twins will need better feed than do the singles. The feel for the amount of fat and muscle tissue that occupies that space between the dorsal bones and the lateral bones on the side. We also feel with our fingers how sharp those bones may feel and whether there's differences between them, as if my fingers were close together or further apart. This doe here is close to a 3, so she's in better condition than this one, which you can probably detect maybe just by seeing that spine pop up a little more pronounced. Move forward, girl. Up you come. Up you come. This doe here I would call above 3. I give her a 3 1/4. So I can still feel the bones, but there's a lot more meat in there, and there's less divisions in between these lateral and dorsal bones. This doe here is a 2 1/2 score. In my mind, you can't really see that she's poor from a distance, but she would perform better if she was on a rising plane of nutrition. This doe here looks a little rougher, but is actually in better condition, and she's close to a 3. So there's more muscle tissue in here, which will carry her further forward in a lactation or increase her ovulation rate slightly. I would be trying to condition score between 15 and 20% of the mob is my safe number. Why don't we just weigh these animals instead of condition scoring them? The reason for that is because at any one live weight there is a wide range in condition scores. While equally there's a huge range in weight at the same condition score, live weight doesn't tell you what the nutritional requirements for this animal is. so we can group animals into need types on condition score much more easily than we can with live weight.